それはさておき、ゲームの方はいかがでございますか？先ほど良い情報を見つけたようなことを言われ、お喜びになられていたようですが、さてさて、どのような朝知恵が思いついたやら。
So Noah made fun of me and giggled. He followed my earlier words to the letter and placed the black tea and cookies, somewhere arbitrary nearby.
お方、19人目の存在に自信を深めたからでございましょう。
Yeah, basically.
よろしければ、ぜひご考説をお聞かせ願いますか？
ああ、いいぜ。どうせベアトの前で改めて言うしな。隠す必要もないさ。いいか、この島に隠し屋敷があって、愛人を住まわせていたらしいんだ。となりゃ、俺を苦しめてきた18人なのか19人なのかって疑問は簡単に決着する。
バトラ様は魔女を否定するくせに、18人の中にも犯人を求められないダブルスタンダードの袋小路に自らを追い込まれました。
Basically, yeah. It is a little harder when we don't have to, like, when we are forced. It is a little harder to do our thing if we refuse to seek a culprit among the 18, like Batter is doing over here. If we are to think of, say, the servants and all that, the murders can easily be solved, but there are still too many possibilities, and we have to reduce it to one. So, even when we have to seek a culprit among the 18, it's a little difficult.
魔女を否定する最も簡単な方法は、18人の誰かを疑うことだ。18人全員のアリバイはそう簡単には揃わない。
Yeah.
常に一人くらいはアリバイの脆い人間が生まれる。
Yeah.
俺はそいつを生贄にすることで、常に魔女を否定し続けることもできるだろう。しかし、それは断固拒否する。ああ、ダメだぜ。全然ダメだ。
全然ダメだぜ。
18人はみんな、俺にとって親たちや親戚たちやいとこたち。そして、真面目だったり面白かったりする頼もしい使用人の人たちだ。俺はその人たちの誰を生贄にすることも許せない。かつて俺はその決意があやふやだった。だからその心の弱さをベアトに疲れたんだ。
自らの弱点を認め理解する、なかなかできることではありません。バトラ様は19人目が存在する説を槍にする。槍というよりは盾でしょうかな。いずれにせよ、これまでのゲームでの無策と違い、戦い方に指針を持たれるのは劇的飛躍と申せましょう。
I mean, unless Beatrice decides to come over here and tell us in red that there's no such thing as a 19 person and there are only 18 people on this island. If she doesn't do that, then yeah, we can go with that.
これでバトラ様は敬愛する18人を疑わずに、存分に19人目を疑い、人間犯人説を追求できるわけでございます。
Yes, you fully understand that, Keanu Reeves.
そういうことさ。最初のゲームのカノン君が殺されたボイラー室とか、他にも19人目が存在していたなら、迷う必要なんかないトリックはいくつもある。
In the very first game, Karan-kun had been killed in the boiler room. One might think that he was attacked by Kumasawa-san, who had gone down into the boiler room with him. Or maybe that someone who had appeared to be dead earlier was actually faking, and had ambushed Kanon-kun in the boiler room. Though, like, if we are to think about it, about the 19 person that is still out there, they need keys. They definitely need keys that the servants had. So, maybe this 19 person is in cahoots with the servants. That way they can switch keys and use them for the murders, and such, for the locker room murders. Either way, it was a move that forced me to suspect one of the 18. However, by simply proposing that a 19th person exists, there's no longer any need to suspect one at 18 for that murder in the boiler room.
つまり18人の誰にも無理だからイコール犯人は魔女という図式だけは否定することができるわけさ。
Using this argument, we can take, for example, the question which has been raised once again in this game. Who gave Maria the letter? And come up with an easy explanation. Even if all 18 people have alibis, I can easily explain everything by saying that a 19th person visited her and gave her the letter. That is true. That, and we can talk about the alibi that at the very least the adults had during dinner. I mean, they were at the dinner when Maria was given the letter and all that, like the siblings and all. So, yeah.
ふむふむ。とても良い一手だと思いますよ。私だったらどう切り返しましょうか。たとえバトラ様が理解されたとしても、未だに弱点は健在。
Okay, and what are those?
18人攻めは有効な手でしょうね。バトラ様の守りがどの程度か確かめる意味でも、改めてそこをつくのも面白いかもしれません。
ならどう来る？悪魔の執事。
バトラ様が刺された19人目の駒を迎え撃つのが妥当でございましょう。バトラ様は19人目にお会いしておりませんね。
No, we certainly did not.
19人目が存在する証拠をお願いできますかな？
No, but we cannot deny that the 19th person exists in the first place. I mean, there's the devil proof.
アメーゼ。もちろんその指し手で来るだろうことは読んでいる。
それは受け手をお願いいたします。
魔女だの悪魔だの、お前らにこれほどふさわしい一手はないぜ。それがこいつ、悪魔の証明さ。
Yay! When we humans are accused of something, we always counterattack by saying to show some evidence. Because, well, that's a human move. Surely a move that I've seen a lot in trials. But I'm fighting with a witch. I take part in a battle with someone who isn't human. And some moves will exist which can only be used in a game against a witch. They are cheap moves. And that's what this devil proof is. Therefore, evidence is unnecessary. Let's take the assumption that there is a hidden mansion on Rokenjima separate from the Ushiromea family mansion, and that a woman named Beatrice is living there. In order to prove this, one must find this mansion and actually bring Beatrice out of it. And that's called actual proof in the human world. However, if we follow the rules of the devil's proof, you cannot disprove that she exists, even if there's no evidence that she does. Because it's impossible to prove that something doesn't exist. That's right. And this devil proof, which tormented me so much before, I finally managed to use it to my own advantage. Those guys were always trying to force me to accept the existence of a witch by using this devil proof. And that was because, in response to Beato's professions, that witches do exist. I physically could not offer any proof that witches don't exist. That is why I have been subjected to this nonsense that witches exist, and why I have been unable to counterattack. And that's why I'll flip over the chessboard right now. Yay! If I cannot disprove that witches exist, then that means, if I suggest that a 19th human exists, you cannot disprove that either. In other words, the enigmatic mistress in question is craftily hiding herself, so it's perfectly natural that you can never find her no matter how hard you look. So I cannot say that 19th person cannot be found equals the 19th person who doesn't exist. Therefore, it is impossible to disprove a 19th person. Beato used the devil's proof to make denying her existence impossible, but this time, it's become my weapon. If we can get away with this argument, then never mind the 19th person. This island could be full of people who we don't know about. And even if there are 10 or 100 of them hiding, she still can't disprove that they exist. In the last game and the one before that, among the murder scenes that showed up here, There were several that were extremely intricate and must have taken a lot of effort to set up. It's very difficult to imagine that a single culprit could have set all those up. However, if not just the 19 person, the 10 or 100 people were hidden somewhere, that wouldn't be any problem at all. If they all split up the work, they could handle any job in a short period of time. Of course, doubts will naturally arise at whether a large group of people like that could sneak around the mansion without being noticed. But those are all settled by the Devil's Proof. Because not seeing or not noticing 100 people inside the mansion does not disprove that they were there. Even though I'm saying it myself, it's such a stupid argument that it makes me want to throw up. However, it's because it's such a dirty as hell move that makes it the perfect one to use against a witch. Suck on that, Beatrice. I mean, yeah, I am still curious about the existence of a 19 person and trying to find that, and this hidden mansion and all that, but... yeah, maybe we can use the Devil's Proof. Ha! Suck on that, Beatrice. It's not like we are inside a trial in Japanifornia or in a class trial or something like that. We don't have to prove a damn thing right now. Yeah. Well, we're only imagining here. But the thought of about 100 suspicious men wearing goat masks hiding in the shadows, that goes beyond funny. Makes me think of cockroaches. You see one, and yes, there's 100 hiding in the shadows. Yeah, that totally sucks.
まあ、へりくつまみれの暴論だとは思うぜ。相手が人間だったなら、寝言を言うなと怒鳴られるところだろうよ。だが、俺の相手は魔女だ。そして、俺たちがやってるのはそういう勝負なんだろう。どんな暴論であろうとも、人間で説明をつけ、魔女を否定する。
I mean, unless a red trophy is used against us, in which case...
とにかく、この一手で俺は、二度と親しい18人のみんなを疑わなくて済む。俺は二度と、前回の失敗は繰り返さない。
なるほど。前回の失敗を学ばれているのですね。良いことですよ。さすがに3度もゲームを重ねると容量が良くなるものです。まずは自陣の守りを固める。実に堅実な処方です。なかなかの妙手と思いますよ。
Okay, well, thank you, Keanu Reeves. Now it is your turn. What do you have against us?
まあ、19人目の人物を仮定したとしても、マスターキーの本数などのように何人人間を増やしてもクリアできないトリックも残ってる。
That is true. We do have to take into account the master keys. In the last game, we know that there are 5 master keys because of the red truth. Though, I mean, I knew that this was something that I'm gonna ask at some point, but are the red truths that were used in the second game specific to that game, or does that apply for every single game? Basically, if there were only 5 master keys in the second game, there are always going to be 5 keys, no matter which game we're dealing with. That's something I'm definitely going to have to ask.
しかし、とりあえずの初手としては悪くないはずだ。
Because, I mean, realistically speaking, from a human perspective, there's no way, I mean, we are basically repeating the days over here, the 4th and the 5th of October, so realistically speaking, there's no way that a new added key would have been put here. But we are talking about the Witch's game board, and things can change in ways that I'm not really sure of, but maybe Beatrice added like an extra key in this somehow. I'm not sure. So yeah, that's why I'm asking. Since we're talking about a game made by a witch and not by a human, done in a real world.
バトラ様の切り札、19人目の人物という大駒。証拠はあるのかとの私の一手に、バトラ様は悪魔の証明で反撃。
Yes.
良い攻防です。 お嬢様のおられないところで勝手に手を進めてしまうのは申し訳ないのですが、私も少し面白くなってきてしまったところです。お嬢様に代わりさらに一手進めさせていただきましょうか。
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Though, I am curious, where is Beatrice right now?
来いよ。
I mean, we basically started the game. Why are we not, like, at a table talking to each other right now?
魔女だろうと悪魔だろうと相手に不足はねえ。
バトラ様の刺された一手、悪魔の証明。これは私ども悪魔のお箱でございますが、他にも私どもにはいくつもの手がございます。ヘンペルのカラスという一手はご存知ですかな？
Hempel's Raven. Doesn't ring any bell.
ヘンペルのカラス？何の話だ？
Just then, that laugh, which gets on my nerves every time I hear it, started echoing around. The room was filled with dazzling golden butterflies, and in the center of that whirlwind, the golden witch appeared.
これはお嬢様。おはようございます。
Man, I wanted to hear it from Keanu over here, what he was talking about. Now we have Beatrice in full control once again over here, so she's gonna be the one to talk over here.
わらわのいないところで何やら面白そうなことをしていると思えば、ヘンペルのカラスか。なんとも笑える懐かしい一手よ。
Yeah, like what is he talking about, Beatrice?
よもやバトラに披露する日が来ようとはな。それは悪魔の証明に並ぶ古典的一手だ。
Uh-oh.
ロノウェイ、それはわらわが指す一手ぞ。
Oh, can you let Ron over here do it?
わらわの楽しみを減らしてくれるな。
Yeah. I mean, you're taking all the fun away.
出やがったな、ゲラゲラ魔女め。
Sorry, Keanu.
相変わらず下品に笑いやがって。こいつもお前のこと。笑い方に品がねえって陰口言ってたぜ。
Ooh. Now Keanu is in trouble.
なあ。
それは心外な。本当か？
めっそうもない。心より尊敬申し上げているお嬢様に、この私めがどうしてそのような陰口を申せましょうか。
よくもシャーシャーと言えるもんだな。
Yeah, well, we don't know. It doesn't really care if he's being caught or something like that. It seems that even if he's working with Beatrice, he still has his, like, you know, status and all that.
お前とは仲良くなれそうにないぜ。
まあよい。話を戻そう。
Yes. So, what is Hempel's Raven?
ヘンペルのカラスは実証を待遇的に行ってみせる。
The contrapositive.
つまりこういう手だ。カラスが黒いことを証明するにはどうすればいい？
What must you do to prove that ravens are black?
あ？
え？何？
何の話だ？
え？
カラスが黒いことを証明って、カラスを捕まえてきて色が黒いことを確認すりゃいいだけの話だろ。
So, basically, if we are to use that for our defense, we would have to catch the 98% and check to see if they exist, or the mansion. Well, yeah, but how does that counterattack our devil's proof right now?
その通り。カラスイコール黒いを証明すればよい。ということは、黒くない鳥イコールカラスではないを証明しても同じ論法になるのがわかるかな？
Oh, wait, you're talking about the possibility that the 19th person is a witch or a human. You're talking about how the 19th person would be either a witch or a human. We have to prove that the 19th person is a human. Because if it's a witch, then that is definitely not going to help us one bit.
世界中のカラスでない鳥をすべて調べ、それらが黒くないことを証明すれば、それは結果的に故に黒い鳥はカラスであるとな、これを対偶論法という。
Argument by the contrapositive.
そなたには難しいか？
ああ、まったく。何言ってやがるのかさっぱりだ。
バトラ様、こういう例え話はいかがでしょう。2つの箱があり、片方は当たりでクッキーが入っているといたします。
God damn it. Stop trying to make me eat your cookies, damn it.
もちろん、もう片方は外れで空っぽです。
For example, let's say that we have two boxes here. One being the winner with a cookie inside, and the other being the loser, which is empty. Now, it holds that if there is a cookie inside, it is the winner. And at the same time, it also holds that if it is not the winner, there is no cookie inside. When such a relationship exists, we call the latter the contrapositive. When if A then B is true, and at the same time, if not B then not A is also true.
そりゃ当然だろう。もし選んだ方が外れだったなら、もう片方は自動的に当たりってことになる。
Okay.
つまり、箱を適当に選び、当たりを引こうと外れを引こうと、最初の一手でどっちの箱にクッキーが入っているか特定できるわけだ。
Mm-hmm.
その通り。開けた箱にクッキーが入っていたなら悪魔の証明を満たす。この箱は当たりイコールこの箱にはクッキーが入っているをまさに実証できるわけだ。しかし開けた箱が空っぽだったなら、この時は逆にヘンペルのカラスを満たす。この箱にクッキーが入っていないイコールこの箱は当たりではないとなるのだから。そしてそれは箱が2つしかないことを前提としている限り、もう片方の箱が自動的に当たりであることを対偶的に示している。
ま、なんとなく理屈は分かったぜ。毒を制するには毒、へりくつにはへりくつってわけだ。それで俺の島には19人目の人間が隠れているに違いないから。
If there is a human on this island, we win. If there is no human on this world, we lose.
18人全員にアリバイがあっても、
Or maybe I should rephrase that a little better.
それは魔女を認めることにはならないをどう切り返してくれるってんだ。
よかろう。わらわの手は教えよう。まずそなたは18人の中に犯人はいないイコールならば犯人は19人目としている。ならば待遇としてこうなるわけだ。つまり犯人は19人目ではないイコールならば18人の中に犯人がいる。
Oh, you mean that? Well, okay.
はあ？
I mean, I can totally see that.
なんだと？それはどういう意味だ？
そなたの指し手を逆手に取っただけだがな。そう難しい話ではあるまいに。
Well, it's not difficult to understand, but...
ロノウェ、説明せよ。そなたのさっきのクッキーの箱の例えはバトラにわかりやすいらしい。
Yeah, cause all this talk about cookies is surely making us hungry. God damn it.
それでは僭越ながら先ほどの例え話でもう一度ご説明させていただきます。
Allow me to repeat once more my earlier story. Okay. About two treasure chests, one which has a cookie in it. God damn it, all these cookies. In this situation, one of the boxes represents the 18 people, and the other box represents the 19th person. So the cookie would represent the culprit. Batora-sama, you open the 18 box, because the cookie is not there. You have proven from the opposite direction that therefore, the cookie is the 19 box. In that case, if we reverse things further, we can also say the following. Namely, if it was first shown that the 19 box was empty, you prove in just the same way that the cookie is in the 18 box. Batora-sama, this move you played in order to avoid having to doubt any of the 18, has in fact been used against you to launch the 18-person attack.
なんだと。
わらわが19人目の箱の中身が空っぽであることを先に証明すれば、そなたは自動的に18人の箱の中にクッキーがあることを認めなければならないということになる。
Oh shit. And that is when you're gonna use the red truth, aren't you? God damn it.
そなたはそれを逆の言い方で口にしたに過ぎんのだぞ。
Well, okay, so basically, in order to defeat our devil proof, you have to prove that the 19th person does not exist. Okay?
つまり俺の自信満々の一手は同時に諸刃の剣でもあるってわけか。
その通りよ。そなたの19人目で全てを説明する一手は、それが破られた時、18人でしか説明できないことを認めざるを得ないリスクを背負っている。
That makes sense. I see. Hempel's Raven. So this is a countering technique? Wait, if you really think about it, this countering technique is far more disadvantageous. This countering technique is far disadvantageous for me than for her. The problem is in thinking about it like a cookie. If I imagine that just one of the treasure chests is a losing chest with a bomb in it, I can begin to understand it quite well. And if I think of it not as two treasure chests, but as 18, one for each person, plus one more person for the 19th person, for a total of 19 boxes, it gets even easier to understand. First of all, one of the premises established by the human culprit theory was that the bomb would definitely be in one of those boxes. Because I hadn't wanted to place that bomb in any of the 18 boxes, I had used the devil's proof, and created a 19 box so that I could throw the bomb in there. That much was alright. But Battle had stuck back like this. If then the 19 box was empty inside, then that would only mean that the bomb was set in one of the other 18 boxes. If I could examine the contents of each of the 18 boxes, and show that the bomb was not in any of those boxes, I would be able to safely show that the 18 people were innocent. If that was possible, I would be feeling confident. However, in reality, that's as close as you can get to impossible. The police wouldn't come here in this typhoon. There will be no scientific investigations, no autopsies, no nothing. In short, I cannot show anything decisively. It's impossible for me to find any proof other than simply gulping down whatever alibis each of the 18 give. In that case, I have to confirm their innocence both personally and perfectly. Like staying with someone the whole time, never letting them out of my sight for a second. Yeah, that is an option. I mean, if we are talking about the same killers over each and every single one of them, the games and all that, I mean, we can basically take turns. I mean, try to follow one or two people per game, like every single time, and determine that that person is not the killer. In which case we move on to the next game and follow other people until we find out the killer. If the killer and the person in cahoots are the same in each game, but you know, things change from time to time. If Rosa was alive in the first game, would the same things have happened similar to the second game? Or let's say that Rosa stays alive in this game, like after the first 6 die. Is the same events still gonna happen, or is somebody else gonna interfere and that person either becomes the killer or the new person in cahoots, or like a new set of people that are trying to set up a plan to kill and get the gold and such. I mean, it's not far-fetched to think that maybe there are a couple of people separately that are thinking of the same plan. Like 1 or 2 people are thinking of a plan to kill and murder, but there are also other people that have their own plan without the other party knowing in the first place. So even if that first party of people they died in the first 6, the other party are still gonna take action. But if the other party is still alive and the first party is dead, then the other party is gonna take action. So I don't know, it's if I do that, I can probably be sure that person's innocence and that the bomb is not in that box. But yeah, so I am asking this. I am wondering, like, if the killers are gonna be the same or it's always gonna change depending on the circumstances. Yeah, that's really difficult to determine, to be honest. However, in reality, something like that is impossible. In other words, I have to expend an incredibly effort just to check the contents of one box. And there are freaking 18 of them. In other words, unless I bind all 18 of them in chains and wash them over, it's impossible to prove that all of them have empty boxes. I mean, we can definitely try that. I mean, okay, we basically tried a little bit of that with the study room in the first game, when we had to chase out Genji, Kumasawa, and Nanjo, and Maria and all. But yeah, we tried to stay in the study, but chaos ensued, and some people have just left. So, However, Beato only has to open one box, the 19th box, and show that it is empty, to prove that the bomb is in one of the other 18 boxes. And she can do so easily with Red Truths as well. She could just say that there is no such thing as a 19th person, or that there's no such thing as a 19th human on this island with Red Truth. If she does that, then, well, it's game over for Batter. He has to suspect one of the 18 in that case. Furthermore, there's no need for her to show which of the 18 boxes has the bomb. I have 18 times more work to do explain my pet theory than Dato does for hers.
世の中には悪魔の証明がそうであるように、反論に膨大な手間がかかり、事実上不可能であるケースが少なくない。しかし、ヘンペルのカラスはその問題を逆手に取り、容易に実証することを可能とする。
ヘンペルのカラスを使えば、さまざまな暴論が実証可能なのです。例えば、私以外の人間イコール愚かであるという命題があったとします。これを証明するには本来、私を除く全人類を調べ、愚かであることを証明しなければなりません。
Yeah, that is a huge task.
しかし、何十億人も調べるなど、現実には不可能でしょう。
Yes.
バトラ様の18箱を開ける手間と全く同じです。
So basically, if we are to try and tackle this huge feat over here, We would have to examine every single person. I mean, not to mention that there's the possibility that Beatrice is toying with the humans as well. So that will be extra hard. Like, let's say that we are to go for the task of examining each and every single person, like every single human. I mean, that's one of the conditions for this, to determine every single person's, like every single human's role in this game and all that. We still have to do that. If we are to do that without Beatrice's interference to, like, you know, trick a person's mind to make them become psychotic or something like that, like what I was talking about with Maria possibly being controlled by Lambda Delta or some other witch in being all cuckoo, like, if we are to not have like any interference with that, we would have to examine every single person. If Beatrice does that, then that's definitely not fair, Beatrice.
しかしヘンペルのカラスならばその命題は待遇的にこう変換される。つまり私以外の人間イコール愚かであるをそなた風に言うならば、チェス盤をひっくり返し愚かではないイコール私として証明してもよいということだ。つまりどういうことだと思う？
I mean, I guess we established in the second game with Battle's Red Truth that we are incompetent, so maybe she's gonna use that again against us.
わらわが聡明であるという事実を知るだけで全人類は愚かであることの何十億人分もの証明が直ちに終了してしまうわけだ。
I mean, if there is such a thing as just one person that is wise, then yeah. Otherwise... Actually, no, that actually sounds about right, I think.
全人類がわらわよりも愚かであることをわずか1秒もかけずに証明終了できる。
Yeah, that is definitely not fair.
世界最強最速の QED。これぞヘンペルのカラス。
なんつ暴論だよ。
これはとても便利な一手ですよ。悪魔どころか神々も好む一手です。幸福であるイコール神のしもべを命題とするとき、待遇は神のしもべでない人間イコール幸福であってはいけないとなります。つまり神のしもべがその加護によって幸福であることを実証するためには、その加護を受けぬ人々が不幸であることを実証すればいいわけです。そして彼らは自らの神を信じない人々を不幸に突き落とすことで自らの幸福を実証する。
人に幸福を与えるには莫大なコストがかかる。しかし人を不幸にするのに必要なコストははるかに安上がりだ。
へへへへ。
つまりヘンペルのカラスを使えば神々は実に低コストで信者に加護の喜びを与えられるわけよ。
悪魔だ。悪魔の理論だ。めちゃくちゃだ。
話がそれてしまったようだな。そろそろ話を戻そうぞ。わらわの反撃の一手は以上だ。そなたの19人目が犯人だから18人は無実で魔女も存在しないへの反撃は、ならば19人目が犯人でないことを証明できたら18人か魔女のどちらかが犯人ということで確定するぞとの確認だ。
For a while, I just stood there, shocked, completely forgetting to close my mouth. Just when I thought that I got my own back on them by using their favorite move against them, the counterattack to that had been this reckless argument that I could not even have begun to imagine. Was it really impossible? to continue denying the witch on an island with no more than 18 people, and yet still believing in the innocence of those 18 people. Was that just a delusion? Well, it just means that the devil proof is definitely not a technique that will have us win the whole game and such. Of course, Beatrice is gonna counterattack that kind of thing with her own move, Hempel's Raven. I mean, Beatrice only has to prove that there is no such thing as a 19 person, thus we have to suspect the 18 people. So, I mean, there's that. Unless we are to find out a completely different move that counterattacks the Hempel's Raven. I mean, how would that even work, I wonder? If Beatrice... well, there is definitely some technique that Beatrice has to prove that there is no such thing as a 19 person. So in order for that to not happen, because she could just use Red Truth against us. But if she doesn't have a Red Truth for that, and that there is such a thing as a 19 person, then we're definitely gonna have to act fast on that. We have to act fast in a way that we don't allow Beatrice to prove that there is no such thing as a 19 person. We have to counterattack Beatrice's future move of proving that there is no such thing as a 19 person. That's something that we're definitely gonna have to work on. Maybe. Not yet. Don't give up this struggle yet. Who cares about whoever's Raven? They're just trying to speak in riddles by bringing up some weird bits of trivia. I had used the devil's proof. Don't feel doubt in something once you've used it. Believe in the spear you've lunged forward with it. Apply even more force, and gouge it in!
まだまだ序盤だぞ。この程度で長考するつもりか？
いや待て、確認するぞ。確かに俺は分かりやすく19人目という言い方をしたが、悪魔の証明によって18人以上人間を増やせるなら、それは10人いるか100人いるかもわからない、不特定多数ということだ。お前が想定する人数より常に1人多い。わかるか？
Here, I turned my twisted logic with something even more twisted. So the only thing that could counter that would be even crazier twisted logic.
なるほど。わらわが19人目のアリバイを何らかの方法で証明したとしても、その瞬間にそなたは20人目を生み出し犯人だと主張する。
Oh, okay.
これを無限に繰り返すことによって、わらわは永遠に彼らのアリバイの証明が終えられないというわけか。
I see. That's actually a pretty good move. Yeah. Okay, that's pretty interesting. Good job, Bella.
なるほどなるほど。さながらイナゴの大群を呼び出す魔王よな。さすがは金蔵の孫よ。召喚術の才能には恵まれていると見える。
つまり18人以外の存在 X は常にアリバイを証明することが不可能なんだ。どうだベアト、ヘリクス合戦だと分かれば俺も負けねえぜ。
Okay then, well, it's your turn, Beatrice. How are you going to counterattack that twisted logic?
愚かしいぞ。わらわを誰と心得る。わらわこそは無限の魔女。そのわらわに無限にて挑むとは肩払いたいわ。無限を操ることはつまり 無限を殺すこともできるということ。わらわが19人目を切れば、そなたは20人目を呼び、20人目を切れば21人目を呼び、21人目を切れば22人目を切れば、23人目を呼び34人目を呼び、6計4358兆2235億7967万3204人目を呼び、
Yes.
わらわを永遠に翻弄で生きるとでも？無限交代とは笑わせる。わらわに無限は通じぬわ。
So what you're trying to say is that Battler is not going to be here for an eternity for that to happen. We cannot just keep asking Beatrice for alibis for every single person over and over and over. We will be reaching a stalemate at that point.
ほう。ならばどうやってこの俺の無限を殺すんだよ。見せてみろよ。
So yeah, I mean, unless Beatrice has the perfect move for that, we would be doing this for an eternity at this point, which would definitely not be good. I mean, we definitely can do that, and Beatrice would become so bored after the 90th million times she has to prove that. Then she would have to give up and we would win. But the thing is, though, I don't think that Battler will be able to survive that long, so... That and... maybe Beatrice has some sort of trick here to counterattack even that. Yeah.
わらわには真実を赤で語る力があろうが。
Oh no.